So it's another beautiful Sunday, starting the day at 808 Collectibles. And right away, they're still bringing stuff back from the collector show, but you can see a few things missing. And a few things have came in, so they're trying to pack everything into the store. And it was even worse that he bought stuff he already had.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Use the app. You'll never.
But there's still a lot of great things. And as we joke around, every single time we come into this store, we find something to buy. And it's usually one of those when we find one thing, you might as well pick up a few other things. Unfortunately, Dean wasn't here today, but Art was. Still had a great time. Joking around, talking story. I think that's something that is definitely worth going to these smaller stores, these mom and pop stores, these family stores. You know, the more you go in, the more you get to know these people, the more friendly you become, the more you can just talk story, talk whatever you want. Unlike the bigger stores that, you know, they're there to help everybody, but they don't want to get close because it's a job. It's not a lifestyle, I guess. I don't know the word for it. It's not a passion. You don't go to work as a passion, but these smaller stores, they're open because of the passion of the owners. And, you know, I don't collect comics anymore. We don't collect comics, but every single time we walk into this store, we definitely find a comic book we might want to pick up. And since we're at Ala Moana, we might as well take a look at Box Lunch. They have a lot of great statues, figures, whatever you want to call them. Their pop section has shrunk. There's not much to collect. In fact, a lot of the Disney hundreds, they have 3 left, 4 left. It wasn't a big selection, unfortunately. More than Hot Topic. So since we're at Ala Moana, take a quick look at Hot Topics Pops. They actually sold out of the Walt Disney, but had pretty much everything else. Since we're at Ala Moana, we might as well take a look at Barnes & Nobles. Unfortunately, they did not have the book that I was looking for, so I might have to order it from Amazon. They did have another book. Uh, they're also starting to do inventory, but their pop selection has grown since the last couple of weeks. Uh, I did. They didn't have the Pocahontas from the other week with the box that was damaged, but they now had three of the Snow White that I picked up from the expo. The one with the box that was damaged is still there. The another one, the box was damaged a bit. And the third one, it was actually in pretty good condition. They also had Dale, but no chip. Cruella, the evil queen. Surprisingly, they had a couple of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame, whatever you want to call it. They had two old Buzz-Off figures. Some pretty cool model kits. Some cute Asian stuff if you're looking for those. Some Dragon Ball stuff, Jiren. As you can see, we kind of went everywhere in a small time. And of course, ending the Sunday night off with a little trip to Bookoff, downtown Bookoff. I don't know why we came instead of going to the Pearl Ridge one, but well, I mean, we wanted to go to a movie after this, and it just, since we were in Ala Moana, we might as well stop by on the way going back. Try looking for the book I was looking for. Unfortunately, didn't find it. Did happen to go looking around at the pops. Normal thing, right? And of course, as we're looking around, being entertained by the conversations of people around us. But I'm sure people are pretty entertained by our conversations. I didn't really find anything on this side. Didn't surprise me. But, you know, you never know. Anything is seriously possible when dealing with pre-owned items, or a store that deals with pre-owned items. Sometimes people need money and they're willing to sell stuff. I mean, come on, guys. Bookoff was one of the first stores that actually had a PS5 and an Xbox Series S in stock for a while. But I'm guessing because it was used, nobody picked it up. they did get a crap load of Kineko Man figures, which tripped me out. Unfortunately, the ones I wanted to get are about $100, or close to $100. Maybe. They still have AC Slater. Nobody wants Slater, surprisingly. They did get quite a few things that came in. And as we were leaving, we did see 3 more bins full of pops that were coming in that somebody sold. Definitely was surprised to see the Batman there. I don't think I have room for him. Gizmo! Catwolf is still there. They still had a few things that were there for a couple of weeks. The Ken that I saw last week, the Street Fighter, was sold, which I'm kind of disappointed, but kind of happy because I got to save some money. They had a couple of Elsas, surprisingly. That was a great King Candy. They had Optimus Prime, but it was about $40, I think. It's crazy because this book off and the other book off, somebody sold their collection of Inuyasha. Their entire collection. Literally like a week apart. Yep. 2 evil Inuyashas. There's another Elsa, Sven. They do have Jaws with the fish tank, or the oxygen tank. But they sold all the other Jaws. They did have Mulan, but that box is literally destroyed. A bunch of Scooby-Doo things. Well, the monsters. But I just seen online the biggest Scooby-Doo monster. It's worth $200 and it's the Snow Ghost. Honestly, if I could find that a whole lot cheaper. Out of all the Scooby-Doo monsters, I'd probably get the snow ghosts.
And look,
As you can see, there's more Kinnikuman figures.
more than regular.
Damn! Look at this, bro.
Mm. Different.
Bret Hart and Alexa Bliss. There's a Batman the animated figure. Golem.
Have you ever played this game?
A Halloween Goofy. Two Cat Banes. Ka. The Dabby is 140. Could have gotten him for 100 at the expo. But didn't want to spend that much. It's great to see Flower. Actually surprised that Flower is worth more than Thumper. This Gar walking to the green flames is $80. And today on the way home, a quick stop at Walmart. Their Funko selection has really died down. There wasn't even any of the NECAs. I mean, except for E.T. It did seem to get more Legos things that came in. I've never seen the Jabba Palace.
Kind of slowly been like collecting like okay, like the different flowers that you can get. Like there's like each flower.
The
has
indoor
like,
playset, I guess.
I don't want to get this off.
Indoor diorama. Quite a few things from Legos. Unfortunately, Walmart did get a few things in, and they redid a lot of their sections, as you can see plainly by the Lego section itself. I think that was the Office, DeLorean, the Bonsai. Unfortunately for collectors, I only found one thing that I would have wanted, and that is a reissue of the G1 Starscream toy, except it is now labeled Transformers the movie. You'll see it towards the ending, or at the end. Unfortunately, I didn't pick it up because I couldn't find where the price check machine was, and there was no price on in. Lego though has come a long way, and they have some incredible sets, depending how much you want to spend. Unfortunately for G.I. Joe, they still only have the Retro Baroness and Lady J. Nobody else. They had no Masterverse figures, but they had quite a few Origins figures. Some WWE AEW superstars, Big Baby Yoda, vintage. They had quite a few vintage Star Wars figures. They did get in the Reva and the fifth brother. If anybody's still looking for them, they're at Pro City Walmart. Some new Justice League figures. That Batman looks pretty cool. But this is what threw me off. They actually had Naruto and Dragon Ball figures for sale. Posable figures, about $13. It was one of those. When did Walmart start doing Japanese action figures? A lot of Fortnite and Pokemon toys, Nerf guns. They brought in some Buzz Lightyear toys. They still had some Wakanda Forever toys. They had the One Who Remains for the Legends, which was awesome. They had made room for Avatar, which kind of sucks. They had a ton of Jurassic World figures. If anybody is looking for the Legacy Blitzwing, he's here. So is this. The Transformers the Movie Retro G1 Starscream toy. There was the Legacy Soundwave from Cybertron, and one Ninja Turtle figure by itself. Crazy, right? Alright guys, so as you can see, it's been, last Sunday was a busy day, and this Sunday is a busy day. We went pretty much all over Moana, Book Off, starting off at 808 Collectibles. It's pretty tiresome, but all in all, it was a pretty fun and productive day. So first off, Barnes & Nobles. No Pops, not the book I was looking for. I'm trying to get the Wolfpack series. Seen episode 1 of Wolfpack on Paramount Plus. It's actually free, or a free episode. And it was pretty great. So I kind of want to read the books. However, I did find another book, the Star Wars Dark Disciple. I honestly already know the story, somewhat. I've never read it, so I kind of wanted to understand and read the story from my own perspective. So basically this story is the Jedi decides they want to go after Count Dooku. It is before the Clone Wars, before episode 2, maybe during the Clone Wars? No, before the Clone Wars. So to go after them, the Jedi bring in a Jedi Knight known as Quan Lan Voss. A lot of people don't know Quan Lan, but a lot of people know who Voss is. And they also decide to bring in a former Sith who was actually Dooku's apprentice, Asajj Ventress. They figure with a former Sith and a Jedi Knight working together, Dooku should be easy to kill, especially with the ex-Sith, his apprentice, or his, his apprentice. Unfortunately, Voss falls in love with Ventress and kind of goes to the dark side. Like master, like apprentice. It's definitely a great story if you've never got into it. So now we get to the good stuff. So the reason we went to Hot Topics and Box Lunch is to find the Disney 100s. So I did pick up Elsa. When I first saw her, I didn't like it because it's supposed to be the magic moment. And I honestly didn't see, looking at the pop, I didn't see the magic part. Like the other Disney 100s, they have some kind of magic going around them. But if you look closer, there is something in her hand that goes around. So there is magic, which I'm excited as this is my second Elsa. And this is my first Walt Disney. I mean, if you're gonna do a Disney pop collection, you need Walt. So this is Walt Disney and Dumbo and Timothy. They have the plushes in the hand. It's actually him walking in talking about, I guess, the Dumbo anime or cartoon. But this looks pretty awesome. The other Walt Disney, he's holding a picture of Mickey Mouse. For me, that's great, but nothing beats walking in holding plush animals to sell your movie. So definitely hitting up Ala Moana was great. Got everything I wanted. As you've seen, we started off at 808 Collectibles, and as I've said before, every single time we go, we end up buying something or spending money. Thank you, Art and Dean, for everything you guys do. This time we try not to spend money. Unfortunately, like I said in the beginning of the video, once you find something that you must have, it kind of steamrolls. So Art got in something that I kind of wanted. Unfortunately, the box is pretty damaged, and that is Tuxedo Mask. There's a few dents. There's 3 holes up there. So I'm not sure exactly where this guy put it, but the back kind of looks like there's a little bit of water damage. But the pop is still great. And to actually see this in the wild and actually be able to get this in the wild is pretty crazy. And for the price Art gave me, I couldn't say no. Since we bought this guy, I needed to complete my movie collection. So I picked up Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love Arnold. I love almost, well, I can say I love all of his movies. So this one, they have 2 versions. They actually have Red Sonja too, if you're looking for her. Art actually, 808 Collectibles actually has her. They also have the original Conan. This is a PB Previews exclusive version that has all the paint, the war paint. I mean, looking at this, you can see the name Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Barbarian. But comparing this with the paint, the war paint, I wanted the war paint. And to finish my 808 buy, I seen it. The price was pretty damn affordable, so I had to buy it. And if you watched the video, you've seen that they have both versions, and that is the Marvel Wolverine, Marvel Pop, Marvel Universe, the original costume. If you watch my other videos, you know I have the other costume with the weird looking mask. They also have the, I believe, an exclusive version, which is the X-Force, the black and gray. And they also have the very expensive version, which is the original brown and red costume. I would love to get it, but I'm good with this. So I did get 2 pops from Book Off, and I'm extremely happy about those pops. Last week, after the expo, you know, we went to Book Off, and I found the Predator Funko, where he's about to disappear with the blue spotches on him. As you've seen in my video, this week we went back. They have the original Predator by himself, nothing, but they also had this, the Hot Topics see-through with Predator blood on him. So it's basically this, just see-through. It is the original Predator from the original Predator movie. It's hard to see, but there is, I guess, a flash of green paint on him for the blood. He was pretty damn cheap, so I couldn't say no. And he looks pretty insane. Now there is another version of this at Book Off without the blood, just the pure see-throughness, and it was literally almost $100. Pretty steep. Wouldn't have minded, but you guys know me. If I can find a Funko, a normal one, or to a bloody version, I'd rather get the bloody looking version. Jaws, I'm trying to get that. Trying to get Lobo with the blood. Aliens, the Xenomorph with the blood. So I'm extremely happy with the see-through bleeding Predator. The other Funko I got, the box is a little bit ripped, as somebody's been opening and closing it, but it was incredibly cheap, and for me it was a must-have, because what I for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Disney fan, Marvel, Star Wars. One of my favorite villains of all time is Maleficent. Look at her. She is insane. And, you know, honestly, having Angelina Jolie play her in the live action movie made her hot. And Dove Cameron playing her daughter Mel in the Disney. Oh my god. I believe both of them killed their characters. Angelina Jolie as Maleficent was spectacular. Dove Cameron as her daughter in the Disney movies Descendants, amazing. I watched Dove in the Liv and Maddie, and there were days I forgot it was the same person playing the two twins. So in my mind, that honestly, besides the fact that she's beautiful, watching her play two characters and forgetting that it's her, she is a phenomenal actress. And then going back and realizing she's played the daughter in, or the dead daughter in The Mentalist, was insane. And you can see her, you know, her acting in that, comparing the three of them, then realizing her ability in the Marvel series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She is someone to keep an eye on. If she wants to stay in acting, she is gonna go far. But she's also has gone away from acting and started singing, which is great. If you've never seen or heard her songs, she's pretty damn good. But for I have, I think maybe two Maleficents, or three. Why am I saying two? The second version, the third version, or maybe the fourth version, one of the newer versions, I have her in the dragon form, and now I have her in the Blacklight special form, which looks insane. So this is the exact same as the latest Disney villains, except it's the Blacklight. So you can still find it pretty cheap. Of course, there are tears, like I said, in the boxes, but the way the color stands out with the really green face, it's not just a black robe, there's like strips of purple in it. I can't tell you how much this is an insane find for me for the price. Well, that is everything that I did buy. However, my brother decided to give me 2 of his pops that he bought from the expo, because he already had both of them and he didn't realize it when he was buying them. So I am pretty damn grateful. It should be with the other collection of the Expo collection, but the Vegeta powered up, glow in the dark, looks insane. This is a, I believe, Chalice Collectibles exclusive. I've noticed that Entertainment Earth and Chalice Collectibles get a lot of glow-in-the-dark exclusives. I believe this came out maybe right before COVID, maybe? There's Future Trunks, Goku Black, Hit, Zamasu, Whis, Super Saiyan Trunks, and Gotenks. And I believe Hit was a Toys R Us exclusive, and all of them came out right before COVID. The other pop, of course, if you know me and him, is the other Vegeta, the Final Flash Vegeta, where he's about to fire or build up the Final Flash. Super Saiyan 1, I believe, maybe 2. I think Super Saiyan 1. And this was a while back. You can see Goku, the original Vegeta, and Nappa, Raditz, Chi-Chi, Gotenks, Kid Buu. Truthfully, I wouldn't mind getting a Kid Buu and the original form of Vegeta, or not Vegeta, Frieza, sorry, it's getting late. I'm not a Goku fan, so I don't have a lot of Goku. I don't have one Goku, I don't think. I have several Vegetas. the Fuse Zamasu, the original Goku Black Rose, the new Goku Black Rose. Unfortunately, that was the one from the Expo. It's not the glow in the dark exclusive, so but I'm okay with it. I do have Hit. I might try to pick up the Super Saiyan Cal, the exclusive glow in the dark. I might try and pick up the exclusive glow in the dark version of Jiren. I want the Perfect Cell that's glow in the dark as well. Yeah, Dragon Ball is a collection, and that's how that's how I'm building my anime collection, is from Dragon Ball on out. So being here in Hawaii, we actually got a lot of anime. If you watch the Japanese channel called Kiku, they had Japanese Pro Wrestling, New Japan, All Japan. They had Noah at one time, DDT. But they also had anime. And I think the first anime I actually saw was the American version of Gigantor, the black and white. And then I remember seeing the black and white version of Astro Boy, thinking to myself, how in the hell did somebody actually think of doing these cartoons, to find out it's somebody in Japan. Before then, I never knew what anime it was. And then learning about Kiku, accidentally learning. I don't know how to speak Japanese. They had no subtitles at the time. But I remember watching the original Dragon Ball, thinking it was insane. I think after that, the next anime that actually came to Hawaii was, I think it was Robotech. Macross in Japan. Well, Robotech was actually 3 series in Japan: Macross, Southern Cross, Mospeada. Star Blazers, which in Japan is better known as Space Battleship Yamato. In America, the ship was named Argo. In the original Japanese version, it was named after the greatest battleship in Japan's fleet, the Yamato. Those were great space operas that dragged me into anime. You see Dragon Ball for the first time, the fights are incredible, you fall in love with it, but you don't know the story because it's all in Japanese. So when Dragon Ball Z first came here, which was even further down the line, because I remember after Star Blazers, Here in Hawaii, we had Transar Z, which is Mazinga Z in Japan, and quite a few more animes. And I remember being young and actually watching Crayon Shinchan. So that was the anime that made me realize American has cartoons, Japan has anime. Cartoons are for kids, anime are for literally everyone. They have anime for adults, they have anime for teens, they have anime for little kids. Crayon Shinchan was something I watched as a child that was made for adults. No sexual things, that's not anime, that's hentai. Totally different. But it was the first anime, or the first animation that I seen that had nudity inside. And it wasn't used for anything sexual. It was more of a running gag, or running gag of this little boy that loves scaring the crap out of adults by taking down his pants and running around chasing them. I did not understand the story, but everything else made me laugh. So I did find the story in several movies for that series. I've found several movies or several series to watch. Gundam. I literally grew up with cartoon and anime. And for those who don't realize it, anime in America is still cartoon. It is anime brought over that is translated and translated for little kids. Because if you've ever seen the actual Dragon Ball anime with no subtitles, no nothing, just Japanese voices, you realize even the unedited, uncensored version of the dub Dragon Ball Z is nowhere close to what the Japanese translation is, with all the swear words and whatnot. And the original Dragon Ball had some very explicit scenes. But it's hard being in Hawaii and not growing up finding anime. And now, when I was a kid, it was hard for me because not a lot of people actually was into anime, or it was shunned as a nerd thing or a geek thing, or if you watched it, you was not part of the cool kids. And I remember going to high school, and all the nerds would be talking about Transformers, G.I. Joe, and I loved all of that, but you bring up Dragon Ball and everybody's looking at you like, what is that? it's made me realize how far society itself has come. You know, you hear a lot of people express hatred. You see a lot of racism. You see a lot of hate. You see a lot of hate towards minorities. You see a lot of hate towards the LGBTQ community. And you realize society itself hasn't gotten that far from what we were, but the next generation has slowly evolved to accept a lot more than the older generation. Today, a lot of people will, if you talk about collecting stuff, there's a lot of people that collect stuff. If you talk about anime, there's a lot of people that talk about anime or into anime. If you talk about old school cartoons and anything nostalgia, there's a lot of people that you can actually talk to. And you're no longer shunned, but you're accepted into a group. And it's pretty amazing to me to see there is more acceptance of things today, I guess, than there was before. And I've talked about this with a lot of my friends about how far we've come from shows. I remember when sitcoms were almost all white, and then they were forced to bring in the diversity of the one black person, or shows that were fully black. And it's today diversity is accepting that we now have Indians, Asians, all these minorities in TV, which never happened before back then, and it was really not even idealistic to think about back then. I think as society we've gotten to a point where a lot of us are willing to accept certain things. I mean, there's still things that are a bit taboo, but we've seen things today on TV with the LGBTQT that we've probably would have never seen before. And I know a lot of people are like questioning, but I mean, do me a favor, go back and look at things you grew up on, to the differences between cartoons from the past to now, the differences between TVs and movies. I'm not saying that there was never specific controversial things on television. I mean, Three's Company is an old sitcom, and that was at the time very controversial because it was two women and a straight guy living together, and all three were single. They've never had a romantic relationship, but the idea of a single man living with two single women, that was definitely questioned. And the fact that he had to play a gay person to be allowed to live with two straight women, it, I, I honestly can't remember a series which back then was okay to be gay. I think most of the characters that were portrayed as gay were actually straight. And I know a lot of the people that played straight characters, a few of them were actually gay, but were too afraid to come out. And I think that is one of the best things ever, that in today's society, it is a little bit easier to come out for those who actually are part of the community. The acceptance is there. It's an amazing thing to watch how far we've come. I remember there was an old show called Archie Bunker, and he was very conservative, and a lot of his views was very Republican or conservative. But they did an episode where he had brought in this black lady to be a maid, and he had to defend her against other racist his friends who were racist. And the idea of him finding out about racism and hatred, and it was one of the biggest impacts on television at that point in time. I remember a show called Benson, where the main character was a black lieutenant governor, and the show was supposed to be built around him being a black lieutenant governor in a very conservative state. The only reason he got the job was because his wife was friends with the governor's wife. However, the show had never ever made him do anything political, made him show any authority. He was more of the caretaker of the house, which they all lived in, and the babysitter of the governor's daughter. I think the greatest shows that help relate everything to, or evolve everything, was like different strokes. The facts of life. As television progressed, as society progressed, you can see television progressing. And in today's world, I know there's a lot of people who are very anti-woke, very upset at diversity of what they're seeing on movie screens and television, because they're not realizing that society has evolved, so media has to evolve around the society. So society has accepted minorities, have accepted LGBTQ or TQ. So movies and television has to expand and accept them as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that content. It's sad watching people use hate, not trying to evolve, not trying to understand, and just staying in one place. Could you imagine wanting every anime character to be white? Because that's what they grew up with. Every comic book character to be white, because that's what they grew up with. What me and one of my friends, he's angry at me because I really don't give a damn. I don't care. There's a new live action Peter Pan film coming to Disney Plus, and Tinkerbell's black. I don't care. Disney's doing a live action Little Mermaid movie and Ariel's black. Why? Because number one, I've learned that comic books, movies, even new movies to old movies, it's up to the director of what they want to put into it. It's their view, not my view. The realization that, hey, maybe this might work. Let's see what happens. And the realization that a mermaid and a fairy is not human. They have no specific race. I mean, if you can tell me the nationality of any of the mermaids from Little Mermaid, I mean, we don't even know what Ursula or Triton. I mean, I'm pretty sure Triton's supposed to be Poseidon, so he's supposed to be Greek, possibly. But other than that, I mean, you really don't know. Tell me any of the nationalities of the fairies. All you're basing stuff on is color of skin. That's hatred because of skin color. I mean, I can get the idea that when they did the live action Dragon Ball movie, most of the actors were whitewashed. Truthfully, if they stood to the script of what Dragon Ball was, I don't know how many people would actually have been offended by it. But since they changed everything, the movie sucked. But I mean, we have evolved. Society has evolved. We've moved on. And I hope sooner or later a lot of people can understand and come along with us so America could be a great place to be instead of filled with this hate and anger, because it's not what certain people want it to be. Could you imagine a world where we're not allowed to collect certain things because somebody doesn't want us to collect them? We're not allowed to watch certain things because somebody's offended we're watching that? As a collector, I'm hoping all of it, you find everything you guys want, but also understand that there is other collectors out there, other fans of other things that want certain things too. Hopefully we can all live in harmony. And from this, and I went on and on, kind of got a little bit political, I guess, a little bit woke. But I would love to hear from you guys, like, what is your favorite animes? What is your favorite shows, your old shows that you remember? What did you like about them? I mean, let's face it, today's world, as kids, or when I was a kid, we got introduced to one show called My Two Dads, which had two dads and one little girl with the two dads trying to raise the little girl. I don't think that would have been approved back in the day. We got My Bosom Buddies, which literally made ways for other TV shows. We had MASH, where Klinger dressed up in dresses just to try and get kicked out of the military. But in all the years of watching MASH, I only remember seeing maybe one or two black people in it. And I don't even remember. I know there was a couple Asian people, but not like today. Could you imagine what MASH would look like in a reboot? It would piss a lot of people off. Anyway, guys, it is definitely getting late. If you're still watching, thanks for still watching. Stay tuned. I'm not sure what's going on this week. As far as the house is going, it's not going great. The more we fix things, the more we find things not what they are, but slowly making things better. So it's going to take some time. I'll let you guys know when everything is done. Probably doing something on Sunday again, if I have time and nothing better to do. I might head out to 808, sell a few pops and get a few more pops sometime this week. There's so much things going on, so much things I want to get. So all I can tell you guys is stay tuned. Things will always be interesting. Show some love, show some respect, show some understanding, show equality. Show the world what we as Americans can do, or if you're from another country, show the world what you guys can do. Let's keep evolving, let's keep moving forward. Let's just keep being the best we can be, instead of trying to bring another person down because we don't believe in what they believe. Trust me, it's not worth it. You will never find happiness that way. Honestly, I don't think we'll find happiness in collecting all this crap, but there is an old Chinese philosophy that says you can't take it with you. So you might as well spend and make yourself as happy as you can now. And you know, if you do believe in reincarnation, everything you have now, you're not having when you're reincarnated as somebody else. So enjoy the little things, enjoy what you can. Spread the aloha. See you guys soon. Take care.